know if the other motor works. It's a big risk. I could have just wasted 14 grand. Hopefully I didn't just get screwed. Wow. Whoa. Did it. We got a freaking boat. Let's go. It only took 2 weeks. It's actually not that bad. We gotta get this thing ready to go and get her in the water. Get out to the Bahamas. Oh, baby. Damn. Keep going, keep going. Yep, that's good, stop. Should I tell him he's in a bush? Oh, I'm so happy now. Now I feel like I have a purpose here in Florida now. Felt lost without a boat.
Hi, Cliffy, you excited for the boat?
He hated the boat.
You hate the boat?
I know you hate the water. I'm gonna throw you in the ocean. Got some work to do though. Definitely got some work to do. Got the title. Don't know if the other motor works. It's a big risk. I could have just wasted 14 grand. I like to take risks sometimes. So hopefully this thing is, hopefully I didn't just get screwed. I don't know. All right, well, I just picked up this 1995 Robalo 2440, 24.5 feet long. 95, she's an old girl, but does have newer motors. New-ish motors. We got twin 2008 Mercury 175 Optimaxes. I know some of the Optimaxes had some problems where they nicknamed them the OptiPop because they would explode. But I did a lot of research and the 175s from 2008 are great motors. And I got a really, really good deal on this, I think. It was a risk because I didn't get to fire up the starboard side motor. So I need to try to get that thing fired up. I did get this one fired up. We took it out for a test drive on just the port side motor. I ran a compression test on it. All the cylinders were exactly the same. I talked to some mechanics nearby. They were nice enough to give me a bunch of advice. I'm 99% sure the only reason that this one is not starting is because there's an issue with the throttle where it thinks it's in drive. When that happens, it's not gonna let you ever try to start this because then the blade will just go. And yeah, you can see it's not spinning, so it's in drive. So if it's in neutral, it should spin freely like that one. So I got to get this one into neutral and it should just fire right up. At that point, then I can do a compression test on this one. Then I'll know if I really screwed up or not. And then I can finally take it out for a proper test drive on my own. But the guy knocked a bunch of money off on the price because he didn't have time to get this thing fixed. Once we got out for the test drive, that's when we found out that other one wasn't firing up because of the throttle issue. So I don't know a ton about this stuff. I'm just gonna kind of figure it out as I go. I mean, I learned how to do compression tests on motors from YouTube. I went and bought a compression tester from Harbor Freight, super cheap. Looked up a couple YouTube videos, watched how they did it. Acted like I knew what I was doing whenever I went to do the compression test, and it all worked. Let's pop up in here. Here she is. All right, hopefully there's better audio for you guys now. I guess I can give you the grand tour of this thing. So we got the twin Optimax 175 Mercs. I don't even know what this is. I feel like I think it's just a live well for fish. This shows how much I don't know about these types of boats. All solid floor. Got the two up front captain's chairs with a massive Garmin touchscreen that I don't think the guy I bought it from had any idea how much this thing was worth. It's missing the trim plate around it, which normally would say the model number. So I took this one out, got behind it with my phone and took a picture of the serial number, looked it up, and this as well as the radar on the roof, brand new from West Marine, was $4,400. Well, that's insane. And then this thing right here needs remounted, but this thing is about $550 new. These are about $125. I mean, and then this entire just upgraded dash, like everything right here is worth a lot of freaking money for an old boat like this. But it's also missing the trim ring, so I need to find that too. And I need to mount this properly. That is, you can see it kind of broke through the plastic there, so I'm gonna mount something behind there so I can screw it into it. Then go inside the cabin. You know, it's a little dirty and a little small, but nothing a solid cleaning can't fix. I don't know if the fridge works. I couldn't get it to fire up. I don't know if the water pump works. I think a lot of little things were broken on this boat. It's all minor stuff. As long as the motors are good, then we're good. But we're gonna find out together. Yeah, plenty of room. My ultimate goal with this thing is to take it over to the Bahamas. That's why I needed one with twin motors, because you really need the redundancy of having two motors. If you're crossing the Gulf Stream, from all my research, I literally knew none of this about a couple months ago, but you cross the Gulf Stream and it's about 50 miles or so to the closest point in the Bahamas when you leave Florida. If you get out there, the Gulf Stream can change and get violent in a matter of minutes. If you get out there and your one motor dies and you're screwed and you don't have another motor, you could be in big trouble. Having two motors, making sure they're all perfectly good to go. I'm gonna take them on a lot of smaller trips first, and eventually that's the dream, is to get to the Bahamas in this thing. So I'm excited to take you guys along for the journey. We'll start with some small trips, learn how to boat down here in the Intracoastal Waterway, the ocean. Together, we're all gonna head out to the freaking Bahamas and be in some nice blue water, just like I have dreamed of for so long. But inside, that's for another time. I need to get these motors fired up. That's priority number one. Let me give you a little, we got the walk around, got a nice big front area. This thing's broken, a piece of fiberglass broken off of it. But overall, it's a pretty freaking clean, solid boat for a 1995. I'm excited to get her cleaned up. So here we go, the throttles. This one, I don't know, it's not doing what this one does. Oh boy, now this one's acting up. Regardless, this one does work. It's a little stiff. This one does not work. I'm gonna take these completely apart and literally just look at the insides of them and figure out what's different from the one that works and doesn't work and try to match them up. If everything's good there, then I'm gonna head back and look at the linkages on the motors when I take these cowlings off. Hopefully it's something simple like that, and then we can move on to the next things, like one of the most important things, a sound system upgrade, because all we got is these little garbage speakers. So I'm gonna put a sound system in here. I'm gonna get everything else fixed up on here, find these trim rings, remount this. I gotta remount the actual key switches. The trim tabs don't work. Gotta figure out why those aren't working. Those are kind of nice to have, especially in the ocean. So I got a lot of stuff to do, but first thing we're gonna do is tackle this throttle issue. And I can't believe I completely forgot to mention the new merch. I'm super freaking excited. These new shirts that I got made, it took forever to make them. If you missed it in the last video, I announced all the new designs that I have. I mean, it's only 2 designs, but hoodies, shirts, everything's available. If you want to help support the channel, check them out. This one is my favorite. It's literally a big boat anchor, you know, representing the boat life, but it's surrounded by a bunch of the mean comments that were left on my YouTube channel, which I think is hilarious. So if you guys want to support the channel, pick up a shirt. They're super comfy, seem like pretty good quality. Sorry for the windy audio. Got the 2 throttles out. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what a lot of this is. That's all part of the process, gotta figure it out. This one's still pretty much all put together, but this one I completely tore apart. Got all the pieces there. I got some more up here, and I think I may know how to fix it. I need to have Gunner push a button for me here, and then we'll see if it cranks, and then we'll know that it's not the motor, then it's just a throttle issue. So we're gonna find that out right now.
I knew he would need my help. I was waiting for him to ask. He always does this. Yes, Brandon, I'll freaking help you.
Yes. That just cranked, right? Yeah. I couldn't hear it. The beep was so loud in my ear. Yes!
Definitely cranked. That's both of them?
Boom, baby! Motor is fixed. I just gotta put this thing back together. It was, I think, literally what it was. I still don't know exactly how it all goes back together, but this, I think, was the culprit. This thing right here was misaligned. If I can put this all back together and not... Sorry for the horrible audio, I have to do a voiceover here, but I was basically just stating that as long as I can get everything put back together and not have any extra missing pieces or parts left over, then I can fully test this motor proper the way that it should be. A couple hours later, that proved to be a little bit more difficult than I thought. Putting those things back together correctly was exploding my brain, using all of its power. But look at this, she's all back together. Both motors firing up super strong. And now I just have a long running list of things that I need to finish doing to this, so. Whew. Day 2 in here. This screen, I got it solidly mounted in there. Can't just pull it out now. This thing also was just able to be pulled out, so I mounted that in there solid. This is back in, mounted solid. I have the trim pieces coming for this. This one, I just can't bring myself to order them. Just these little pieces that cover right here. They want 95 freaking dollars for 2 little plastic covers, and I'm not doing that. This one was like 25 bucks for these, so whatever, did that. Also, the ignitions, whenever you turned the key, the whole cylinder would just spin. So you had to reach around the backside, hold the backside of the cylinder and spin it and hold it so it didn't spin. So you can see they're a little bit messed up. So I kind of came up with my own plan here. I just cut 2 pieces of wood and just sandwiched them so it smashes them together. That way they both can't move at all. I don't really see any reason. I mean, it's ugly, but no one's ever gonna see that in there. I've been vacuuming out all the inside of this. This was full of shit, acorns and just random stuff, just a bunch of dirt. So I'm going through, I pulled out all the cushions and I'm just vacuuming, cleaning, washing every single thing in here and fixing little odds and ends. Like, I don't know, I keep finding little things like this hinge is broken. There's a few hinges on outside compartments, and that's what I'm gonna spend the whole day today doing. And also ripping out this DVD player. Also, this is the old sound system. So I already got a new sound system ordered. I'm putting a crazy loud sound system in this thing because why not? The upgrades continue. But I'll spare you guys the time. I'm just gonna be vacuuming and cleaning all day today. Bright and early on day 3 with the boat. I've been out here for a couple hours already. I rewired all of the blue lights all through there because all the wiring was terrible on those. This is the next thing that I'm tackling because the ladder comes down, it doesn't hit yet, and it all hits into the trim tab. So when people are stepping on this all the time, it literally pulls the trim tab down. Like all the weight just goes right onto the trim tab. Screw that's not even there. All these screws seem loose and unreliable. The trim tabs don't work anyways. I still gotta figure that out. But I'm gonna take all this apart, re-silicone everything, put new stainless steel screws all back in there. And then also, I removed this wall. This is my new wire. Goes up through this pipe over there and into there. Because I'm gonna run 4 speakers out of here that are gonna be mounted on this hardtop. So I'm waiting for all the speakers and all the wiring and everything to come in today. Then I gotta run 3 more sets of wires down through here. And then once they get to here, I gotta find out where I'm gonna mount the actual head unit. And that's all gonna have to go to there, blah, blah, blah. Tedious, tedious, tedious. This thing is causing me a bunch of trouble. I'm just gonna keep blasting it with some PB Blaster. Hopefully everything loosens up here. Behind it and try to just like press outward on it a little bit. There it is. Hey, thank you.
The holes in your boat.
Whoa! I forgot about that. Oh my gosh. I had to pull this down like that. There's a lot of pressure. So I stuck this fat socket right inside there like that. And it just shot out of there. But now I have access to all these holes. I'm gonna use this 3M Marine 5200. Fill up all these holes and put it all back together with new stainless steel. This socket right on there again. And then press it down in there. A lot of freaking pressure on that right there, as you saw already. I got the cowlings off the motors. I am going to pull out all the spark plugs because this motor I didn't check whenever I bought it. I wasn't able to really do anything to it. This one I did a compression test on, but also there's some slits in the wires for the spark plugs. So it's arcing and it's actually just arcing over to the metal whenever it starts, which means it's not getting great spark to the spark plugs. So I'm gonna replace probably all the wires. I might as well just do those ones too, depending on how much they are. Gonna pull all the spark plugs out, see if they're okay or if they're terrible. Got them out. Check out these photos. They're looking a little gross. I think I'm just gonna replace them, just start fresh. Might as well start everything fresh on this. One thing I'm not sure that I do need to research is oil reservoir on the side. Like this one's full and this one looks like it's completely empty. So that's probably not good. More research to be done. Another day, another day. Got the cowlings off the motor, and I'm doing a little bit of maintenance and checking out some things. Trying to do as much preventative things as I can to make sure that this boat's good for the water. One thing I noticed is there's some very small cracks in the belts. I'm gonna replace the belts soon. I'm probably gonna take it out for a test drive with them as it is. This one doesn't look terrible. That one definitely got some cracks in it. One thing I have been told to check out is the thermostats. So I gotta get this housing off right inside of there and this housing right there on both motors. I've been trying to get this lower gear oil out. This whole lower unit is full of gear oil, and I've been trying like literally days. I've been spraying PB Blaster and trying to get these loose. Finally just got these two loose and this bottom one loose, and This top one, you can see how chewed up it is. Top one's been giving me a lot of trouble. It's the last one I need to get out. I'm gonna try smashing it with a punch. Got this baby, big old hammer. It's gonna like, yes, sir. It's literally been like 4 days trying to get this thing out, and I finally just got it moving. Yes. Gotta run to the store and get gear oil. Apparently the way you're supposed to do it is you take this bottom plug out and the top plug and you pump it in through the bottom until it comes out the top. Then you cap them both, call it a day. I'm gonna get new oil, putting those today. Still, I'm waiting on my plugs and wires to come in for both the motors. I think they're coming in a couple days. I'll swap all the spark plugs, all the wires. I'm gonna replace the fuel filter, and then there are some right there and right over there. Fuel water separators. These ones look pretty old. The fuel filters on the motors actually look okay. They actually look like somewhat new. These ones look old and rusty as can be, so I'm going to tackle that next. I think I have a package being delivered right now. I ran all of this wire. I installed a fusion head unit right here, so then the wires, that's the back side of it, it goes up, comes up through some holes I drilled, goes across this wire loom that needs to be tied up nice and neat. This is where the other radio was. This is where I mounted the amp for the 6.5-inch speakers. This amp is for 2 subwoofers. Then I ran all the wires everywhere. It took forever to run the wires. Thank God I had Gunner to help me. A 6.5 here, a 6.5 there. That's where some older speakers were. So I just enlarged those holes and put nice speakers in. And then I was gonna put 4 tower speakers, like right here, right there, and then up front, but it was a nightmare. Everything was going wrong. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Apparently, the clamps, you can see I mounted 2. I kind of just flush mounted them. They're not supposed to be mounted like that, but it kind of worked. I just put the bolts straight down through the hard top, heavily siliconed everything. But I got those 2 6.5s up front, and I was gonna put 2 more right here, but the clamps are made for minimum of a 2-inch thick bar, and all the bars on this, they're so thin that no matter how many spacers and everything I put, they were never gonna clamp down tight, and it just started looking ugly with that many spacers in it. So that's why I decided to take the other 2 I had and put them there instead. So we got 4 new speakers, new head unit that will be tied into the big Garmin once I figure out how to do that. It's got to go through this big NEMA 2000 bus. I just put all the wire inside of this wire loom. I got to tidy that all up. But things are coming along. Update. Oh, and then I found another issue today. Leaking power steering out of that power steering ram right there. Same exact issue I had with my boat in Pennsylvania where the hydraulic steering actuator was leaking. Luckily, this one is extremely more accessible. I still don't think it's going to be super easy to do, but this one's right there out in the open. The other one, I was inside my engine compartment contorting my body trying to get back to it, and it took me forever just to get to a few bolts and cotter pins. But yeah, let's get to work. Got all 4 thermostats out and they look disgusting. I think I'm just gonna get 4 new ones depending on how long it's gonna take them to get here, but yeah, these are looking trash. One more thing added to the list. Just ripped the e-bike, got a backpack full of gear lube and a little pump at Walmart.
All right, Brandon's taking far too long on this. What is this, day 5, 7? Could be 1 month of this boat. So naturally he called out his brother-in-law, the big guns. We'll have this thing in the water in like an hour. See you there.
Here's your cool gunner.
Thank you. No, a real mechanic if you can fix a boat with just a toothbrush. I don't need any of this fancy ratchet, these fancy screwdrivers. A simple toothbrush will do.
As I was pumping, it started coming out. That's how we know it's full. One side, new gear oil, done. I'm not gonna film the other side, because why do you need to see it twice? Pulled out these old, gross, rusty water fuel separators. Got 2 brand newty guys going in.
Brandon, do you think I can eat sometime today?
Absolutely not, we don't take breaks.
Please, Brandon, we've been doing this all day.
Two new fuel water separators installed. 8-inch marine subwoofer installed. Another hole cut out for the 8-inch subwoofer. And now it's time to fit that one in. Look at the layer I have to cut through. So I had to cut through this, and then all this packed in foam, but then the blade also had to reach that one. Sorry, the lighting is so dark right now. But let's wrap it up. Another full day from morning till night. All right, I had everything put back together and just tore it all apart again. One of the issues I've been having is one of the motors, the port side motor, is reading on all my digital gauges, and the starboard motor wasn't doing anything. So I figured somewhere there's gotta be something wrong. Paid a guy to come out here. He was supposed to do some electrical diagnostics, and he looked around, and then literally he was just, I don't know, it seemed like he was confused by everything, and then in the middle of it, he just said, I got another job to get to, I gotta go. So he literally just left out of nowhere. He only charged me 20 bucks to come out and check things, but he wasn't able to help me. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna bother taking this to the shop. I'm gonna figure it out myself. And I just did, almost. I tore everything out. I watched many YouTube videos on how this NEMA 2000 network works. So I took everything apart. I found all the wires up here that go to the NEMA 2000. I figured there has to be 2 lines that go back to the motors. I traced them. They went down through here. Traced them out through there. Came down along there. They came down through here, down into here, and there was a giant mess of wire in here. I pulled out this was the freshwater washdown. I found these blue wires, which I see one goes to each motor, so figure we must be good. Traced them all the way out. I pulled all the extra wire out that was just a big ball. This is one of the engines. It goes through here, through this Mercury gateway thing. And this is the other motor. Something missing. I don't know exactly what's missing. These wires need to go to there somehow. So I just talked to Mercury on the phone, and they're gonna send me a wiring diagram with part numbers and see what I'm actually missing here. Hopefully it's nothing too expensive, because this piece right here is almost $700 freaking dollars. Never ceases to amaze me how ridiculously overpriced everything is for boating. Let's go test this baby out in the inaugural cruise. Forgot something. I need a wrench to crank the plug into the boat.
No, that's very important, right?
I forgot to bring a single tool with me. So the plug might just be finger tight for today. Should be all right. We're not really cruising far. Going for a night, the first time having this boat on the water myself with 2 working motors. I took a test drive on this when I bought it. One motor worked, the other one didn't. They both should work now, and we're taking the first test drive in the Intercoastal Waterway. My first time ever driving a boat here, or conning a boat, whatever you want to call it, and I don't know anything about it. I couldn't be less knowledgeable or prepared for this.
Hopefully that plug holds.
Oh my God, look at that house. It's insanity right there.
All slimy now. First outing in the Intercoastal, eh?
Not how I expected it to be honest, you know?
At night?
Hop on, sir.
The service.
I really didn't think this is how my first time boating in Miami was gonna go, but here we are. We're officially doing it right now. The pool's super shallow.
What's the depth?
4 feet, a little bit less. Oh shit, I didn't realize there's giant parked boats right in front of us.
Damn.
This is pretty badass. Like we're only cruising like really slow putting speed, but got like numerous bars that we've passed in a matter of 1/8 of a mile or less that you can just really pull right up to and go to whatever one you want. There's a bunch of people there, live music. This is like exactly what I had hoped of having down here. We're gonna have to come back and do this in the daytime and be a little bit safer about it. A freaking monster. That's what we need to get to dive off of. This is where I test drove another boat. I came out of this little canal, and we came out here, and then there's some signs here that you can go fast after in a little bit. So I'll at least try to get some power going. I mainly wanted to come out and make sure both motors are running because I've never been able to test the starboard side motors. Get both of them running. I also forgot that I have no idea how much gas is in this thing. I still don't have all the gauges working properly. I got another part coming in this week that I gotta wait for that. But oh, let's get the, there we go. Actually makes it hard to see. All right, we're gonna try to maybe get this thing on plane. Haven't done it yet. Not even on the test drive. She rips! Holy shit. I didn't even really give it a ton of throttle either. That was, wow.
We were on plane in like 2 seconds.
Wow, I really didn't even give it that much. Let's do it one more time.
Damn.
I'm very happy with that. Hell yeah. The whole time we were putting out, I was honestly kind of thinking like, I don't know, this feels like it just doesn't have a lot of power. Like obviously I know you can't really tell from putting, but when I was just giving it a little bit to just cruise a little faster, it felt like it was just never gonna have that type of power. But I've seen a lot of this exact same boat that has twin 225 motors or twin 250 motors. This is twin 175s. I thought maybe it'd be a little underpowered, but not at all. Hell yes. I'm happy, very, very happy. Get too crazy with it. I can't really see shit. The visibility on this boat is not ideal. I got these bars coming down and then I got the huge windshield in front of me. It's kind of hard to see, especially at nighttime. So I'm gonna stay safe. This is already a bad idea being out here in general. Very, very happy. This is a great, I'm not even gonna call this like the inaugural run. This is like the pre-inaugural run. Check it out. We got new merch on the channel. This one is a custom boat anchor design surrounded by a lot of the mean comments on my channel that people have left about the whole boat life stuff. So I thought it was hilarious. I figured why not turn all the negativity on the channel into something positive, like some hilarious merch that you guys can wear. Huge thank you to everybody that has already bought some merch. It's only been, at the time of filming this video right now, it has only been live for maybe 24 hours, a little bit more than that. A bunch of people have all placed orders, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much. I am so ecstatic. I'm glad that you guys love the merch because I really love this. I'm wearing it every day. Next morning, and when we got back last night, pulled the plug, a lot of freaking water came out of the bilge, which is a little bit concerning. This morning, I just spent a lot of time getting this freaking piece out. This took a while. It was so heavily siliconed in there. Now I have access to the bilge pumps. We have the regular bilge pump that has the float switch, and I just tested it. I just filled this all up with water. The float switch is working, like, but it just like, it floats, but it doesn't float high enough. I don't know. I might just need to replace that float switch. I really like peace of mind that it has this mega oversized bilge pump in here too. I believe it is 4,700 gallons per hour. We have the regular bilge pump, the big oversized one, and then there's also forward bilge pumps. So we have 3 in totals. That makes me feel a lot better. If we're having any sort of issue where we hit something, we're taking on water, these 3 pumps, depending on how much battery I have, will be able to pump out a ton of water and get me back to safety. So right now, I'm just getting down in here, and I might just pull this float switch out and see what's going on. Boom, got a new one. I don't really like the ball activation in there, but I'm gonna install this one, see if it works. Heck yeah! We're in business. We're in business. We're not gonna sink. Very important thing taken care of. Now I gotta seal all this back up. All right, another day. Before I seal all of this up and put it all back where it goes, I gotta do more work because, you can see there's a sea strainer right there. It comes up through that sea cock for the live well. So I guess that pulls water up, pumps it into this thing. And when I went out with Gunner at nighttime and we had a ton of water in the bilge afterwards, I knew that there had to be water coming in from somewhere, and it's all coming in through that sea strainer. The sea strainer was just leaking like crazy. I put this back in the water to take my mom out for her birthday for a day and also kind of test some more things out. As soon as we backed it into the water, I got back in here and noticed just a solid amount of water coming in through that sea strainer. So I closed the sea cock and it was still coming in a little bit, so the sea cock might be broken as well. So it's more things to fix before I seal this compartment up. I definitely don't have the time and the parts to do that right now though, so that's gonna have to wait. But for today, we got all the spark plugs and all the wires. Let's get all of those swapped out, nice fresh plugs and wires, and then we should be good to go for a while. I've been doing a ton of work to this thing. When I initially bought it, the starboard side motor was not firing up. It was due to a throttle issue, so I tore the throttles apart, got those all taken care of, and got the motor to fire up. I did a compression test, everything came back great. I fixed one of the trim tabs, I replaced the oil in the lower units on both motors, the fuel water separators. I found an issue in the bilge where there was a leak, so I closed the sea cock, got that a little bit taken care of, postponed for now. I diagnosed a ton of electrical issues and tore the entire dash apart, traced wires forever, and finally got all of the gauges reading on the Garmin, on the vessel view, up on the dash. I also took out all of the thermostats. I'm waiting to get some new ones in. These ones are a little bit bad, but they're working for right now. I replaced all of the spark plugs and wires. And on a recent trip that I just took, I was getting a 4B code on the ignition. It wasn't showing up any codes on the vessel view because it doesn't have the ability to do that. I did a little bit of research, as well as a lot of you guys that watch this channel let me know that it's an oil related code. So I looked into it. I saw that both of the reservoirs inside, the larger reservoirs of the oil, were super low. So I topped both of those off and I haven't taken it out since. I'm gonna fire up both the motors just on a hose right now and see if I'm still getting that code. Hopefully that took care of it. If not, I gotta investigate a little bit further. Let's lower these motors and fire them up. So close. It's been a few days since this thing's fired up. So far, no beeps. I'll let it run for a little bit longer and make sure we're good. But I'm 99% sure that's all it was just a low oil beeping code. So hopefully we're good. Okay, I just put it in drive. It sounds very bad. I think that's really bad. I don't know though. I am no boat mechanic by any means at all, but that sounded like the lower unit is in trouble. I'm gonna start the other one up. Maybe it's a normal sound. It sure does not sound healthy whatsoever. It sounds like terrible. Let's hook up the other one though. Let's kick this one in gear and see what happens. There's some similar noise, but it's not as bad as the other one. I mean, the good thing is that I think the oil issue is taken care of, but now I'm really terrified I might need an entire new lower unit, which are freaking expensive. I haven't priced them for this, but everyone I've ever talked to is like, very expensive. Okay, that one's doing the exact same thing. So please pray for me that I don't need two lower units. Let's hope that since they're both doing it, that's what they're supposed to do and supposed to sound like. But, oh boy, I'll be so screwed on this boat if they both need lower units. But no beeps, thank goodness. Oh boy. Well, it turns out all the awful noises coming from my lower units is apparently a thing called prop chatter. That's a normal thing. I think mine are a little bit excessively loud, but all it is the hub assembly inside of there. From everything I've seen, it seems to be a normal thing, especially with the Optimaxes. They have a few different options of upgraded hubs that are actually not even that expensive, so I might swap mine out. They basically just have like 2-piece rubber sleeves or something, just something that kind of absorbs all of that, kind of just eliminates the prop chatter. So that I don't think I need to be worried about anymore, thank goodness. But check these out. I've wanted these for a really long time. Heavy duty ratchet straps that are retractable. So you just like push a button and it like sucks them back up in. I can get rid of this big ghetto strap that we got going on, and I'll be able to hopefully go from here down. I mean, it still might kind of, I don't know if it's gonna work actually. It might hit into these, but I'm gonna try that. A freaking trim tab. I don't know, the straps are pretty cool. This sucks. This thing's just in a bad spot. Solution. From here, straight around and down to the actual hook. Finally done with this stupid thing. Gotta get back in here and get these guys out. Not excited for this part. Freaking mess down in here. Look at this. I don't know. I'm hoping this is just water, not like battery acid, but it's also in this one, or yeah, this one too. So out with the old, in with the new boys. All right, I just dumped an alarming amount of battery acid out of both of these. Sprayed them out, cleaned them, and these things, at least one of them definitely, I mean, I guess it's both since it was in both of them, but yeah, they're leaking battery acid. Batteries aren't even that old. I was debating on not even swapping these out. Very glad that I am. July of last year, May of this year, and they're leaking like crazy. I don't know why, or I don't know. Don't care. All I know is I got some nice new ones to throw in instead. I got the batteries installed, but these are the bolts that come with them, and I have too many things that go on the terminals. These bolts are too short to go through all of them. The right way to do it is put these on, run one wire over to like a terminal block with all the positives, all the negatives, and then run everything off nice and neat, but I don't have that in me, and I'm not gonna go order those things and wait for those. I'm literally just gonna run to the store, get larger bolts, plop them in there, and call it good. It is crazy hot today. It's actually been really chilly here in Florida recently, but now, sweating. 45 minutes later, got the hardware. These are the ones that came with them. These are the ones that I'm gonna use, so I have enough space to put everything on the terminals. And like I said, I know this is not the proper way to do it, but for now, it's gonna do the job. But that took a lot longer than I thought. Mainly because of the location of the batteries. They're so far back in there and it's so hard to do anything. I'm just laying on that uncomfortable hatch the whole time. They're officially installed. They're bolted down to the floor and got everything wired back up to it. They're connected together so they'll be able to talk to each other. Gotta figure that out. I think there's like an app where I can just monitor the batteries via my phone. We'll see how they perform. I'm pretty excited to have cranking and deep cycle marine batteries, but that'll be later in this video when we go out and actually do a test drive. We'll see how them puppies do, but I'm dying out here. One of the most important things I need to know about my boat for my trip to the Bahamas that I'm planning is how much fuel do I have? And right now I have no working fuel gauge. There's no digital gauge anywhere that's in the system, like a flow sensor that's hooked up to my Garmin or the vessel view. So I pulled the Garmin out. I found back in here are all of the old analog gauges that still work. So I turned the keys on, the fuel gauge wasn't reading anything, so then I came back here. I took these two leads off of the sending unit and I connected them together, came back up front, and the fuel gauge read full. So the gauge works, the wiring's all good, it's just, I believe the sending unit is bad. Also, I can't be looking at analog gauges that are hidden back in there, so I pulled the fuel gauge out. I'm extending the wires on it so I can run it somewhere else and mount it somewhere so I can still see it, leaving myself just a bunch of wire to figure out where exactly I'm gonna put it. I started drilling a hole here. I might put it here, but I didn't realize how thick that was, and I don't have the right size drill bit for something this size. I might fit it there eventually, or I might just plug that hole that I just drilled, and I might just temporarily mount it somewhere with a zip tie just so I at least can see it. I have 3 more wires I need to extend from back in there to the gauge, and then route them wherever it's gonna go. And right now, I have been battling getting out all these nuts, which I just finally got them all out. There was 2 bolts here. The heads of both of those just snapped off, so I'm trying to be cautious. I've been spraying this all with PB Blaster. I got all these bolts out, and I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit and try to pull that thing out of there and go grab another one, throw it in, and then I should have working fuel gauge. It's kind of weird. It'll be a little analog gauge when everything else is digital on this thing, but at least I'll be able to know how much fuel I have, and that is very important to know when going way offshore, like how I want to. Whoa. If that's correct, that means I have a completely full gas tank, which means I have 180 gallons of fuel right now, which is pretty awesome. I mean, that's $700 that you're looking at right there. Wow, I did not realize that. I've only put in like 50 bucks here and there, like I think 2 or 3 times. So the fact that there is allegedly $700 of fuel sitting below me, that's awesome. Great win. Everything on the bottom part looks like it's great and in good condition, but this top plastic is all cracked and destroyed. But I just put my meter on those 2 inputs or outputs, whatever. I was reading just open load, so I think this thing is fried. I mean, it looks like it's pretty destroyed, so gotta grab a new sending unit. All right, I got the dash all put back together, and I did go ahead and mount fuel gauge right here. I didn't have the right size hole saw to drill the hole, so out of complete laziness of not wanting to go to the store and get the right size, I just drilled a bunch of little tiny holes and kind of just like warbled it all out. And up close it looks really bad. From far away right here, not so bad. But yeah, if you get up close, it doesn't look great. It's a little ugly, but the boat's 30 years old, whatever. I extended 5 wires from where the gauge was down there. It's all wired up. So literally in a couple days, whenever my new sending unit comes, I'll install that. But next thing on the list, I want to investigate, and I will take your guys' help as well, because I'm not sure. I fixed an issue, but I don't know what I fixed. So a few days ago, a guy named Eric messaged me on Instagram and offered to come out on my boat and kind of teach me a lot about navigating the waters down here and a lot of questions. I just had so many questions that were too hard to ask people online. So he came out with me, we went out for a couple hours, and he gave me a lot of useful knowledge. So huge thank you to Eric. Appreciate you coming out with me. And during our couple hours we were out, I was going full throttle for a little bit, and when I was backing off the throttle for a no wake zone that was coming up, the starboard side motor died, and it would not fire back up no matter what I was doing. I had it in neutral, everything was good, but it just would not fire up. So I had him hitting the ignition while I was back here while we were out on the water. But right here you see the fuel rail, right? And then right here is a hose of, I don't know if it's a vacuum line or what exactly it is. I know there's a big air compressor on these things. I believe that's this right here. And I know a lot of stuff runs off of that, and it's very, very crucial to the motor. I looked, and when he was cranking it, I could hear air, and I found out that this hose got blown off. I don't know if there was a loose hose clamp and it just blew off or what, but I didn't see a hose clamp, so luckily I had some with me. I popped this back on, clamped it down, and the motor fired up great, and it was running great the rest of the day. I pulled this side off the other day just to look at it and make sure everything's the same, but I just don't understand what this airline actually does. I don't know why there's air going into the fuel rail. I'm learning a lot of things, but I don't know. So if you guys do understand this stuff, let me know why there is an airline from the compressor going to the fuel rail. But either way, that was a simple fix. Next thing on my list, getting these little filters off. I'm gonna try to replace these. Once I get that sending unit, I'm gonna go back out for another test drive, make sure everything's working great. Few more short test drives, and I think I'll be ready to take the risk of going across the Gulf Stream over to the Bahamas. I gotta do as much prep work as I can. I'm also going to remove this hatch again. Still never silicone that back down after I took it apart. Once I get the boat in the water again, I wanna stick my head down in there and make sure there's no water coming in from any other places. I wanna make sure that's nice and good, because the sea strainer was leaking like crazy for the live well. I shut the seacock, but I think the seacock might actually be leaking too. And we got another issue. The power steering actuator is leaking. So you can see there's fluid down here. So I got to replace this entire thing. Whether I'm gonna do that before I go to the Bahamas or not, I'm not sure. We'll see. Either way, I'm still chugging along and trying to iron out all of these little issues before we go offshore. It is almost a week later since the last clip that you saw. I got the flu or something. I was dying, sick in bed every single day, and it was driving me nuts because I couldn't use the boat. I couldn't go out and do anything. I was basically just sleeping all day, sleeping all night, sweating profusely, and gnarly headaches. It was awful. But many, many days ago, my new sending unit came in. Going to put that together. I also got the fuel filters for the motors. Get those on, get the sending unit in, make sure the sending unit works on the gauge, and then let's take the boat out and rip a nice little test drive. Alrighty, let's go through the bushes. My power steering leak is not looking great. It's another thing I really gotta get fixed ASAP. The tank is 18 inches deep, which means we need to set the new sending unit to 17.5 inches. 17.5 inches. Well, the new sending unit's installed. Of course, we ran into issues. The 5-bolt pattern didn't perfectly line up with my tank's 5-bolt patterns. I had to take this, mark a couple holes, and I had to kind of just extend the holes a little bit, just ever so slightly. It was like half a hole length over. And then this bolt here stripped out, of course, when I went to go put it in. I barely even put any pressure on it, and it stripped out through some marine silicone under there, and it's wedged in there pretty staunch, I would say, because there's a big gasket under this, and it's really thick, so the holes on that are small. Siliconed through there, put the bolt down in, screwed it in the best I could. It's not gonna come out. And the other 4 are in there very tight. So, of course, issues as usual. The gauge is working, and now I just gotta throw those fuel filters on. I got a crazy headache. It's this guy right here. I've been struggling to try to get it off. This is too big. Gotta be kidding me. My tool's too big. I bought this one that just kind of like wraps all the way around it, cranks on it, and I was cranking on it and it was literally denting the side of the filter. So I need to go get another one of these that's a little bit smaller, and hopefully that will work. I'm guessing whoever put these on didn't put oil on the gaskets whenever they sealed it, and then they probably just cranked it too tight, and now it's just probably crusted on there. They live another day. Test drive time. Just pulled up to Haulover, my favorite boat ramp that I've been to so far, because it's like incredibly not steep at all. It's so easy to launch here. And I'm doing it solo today, so let's see how this goes. I'm gonna leave this on for right now, back it in, I'll grab my ropes and try to figure it out as I go. Not too bad, other than the pulpit was getting stuck, caught up on the roller for the strap. And of course, the one time I'm solo, this is the most busy I've seen this ramp. But that went really smooth. We'll see how it goes when I need to get it back on the trailer. That's the harder part. Look at this monster coming in. Look at the size of it compared to that dually. Jeez. Already water in the bilge. I don't know if that was just sitting in there while I was trailering it or what. I don't see it actively coming in anywhere. Well, let's get out there though. Can't believe this. People were like casually trailering 37-foot boats. Ridiculous. And this Intrepid, I don't even know how big that one was. Back where I'm from, trailering a little 18 to 20-foot boat is normal, not 37 freaking foot boats with 300-400s on the back of it. There's a lot going on. Launching a boat solo, filming solo. I got 2 GoPros going at the same time, trying to manage those while also not getting in everybody's way and doing this smoothly. But honestly, it was like quite stress-free. Very surprising. Run and grab the other GoPro. And I forgot I have all my stuff up front too. Gotta get situated out here. Gorgeous out here. All right, check it out. There's a whole squad of them over there. Good old Raccoon Island. Gotta come down to no wake speed to go underneath the bridge, and then we can go fast again. But only when we go to the left, I found out. The bend back there was so incredible, just seeing the entire skyline of Miami right here. This is all uncharted territory. I haven't been out here. This is just incredible. I wish I could bring all of you guys here right now so you could see this. This is just epic, 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 epic. Gosh. I've been lucky enough to be staying behind boats that are on planes, so it's really easy to tell where I can go fast and where I can't go fast because the signs are just so damn confusing. But the last boat I was following just turned off, so now I'm pulling over to this sign right here just to read it, see what it says. I also don't know where it's... I'm in a channel right now, but I want to know, like, can I just cruise all the way out there? Like, can I go straight to the city? I don't know, probably not. Probably like a foot deep out there somewhere. But this sign says 30 miles an hour in Meloy channel, 35 miles east of the channel. All right, cool. Sounds like I'm still in a go fast zone. Well, I mean, test run is going pretty great so far. I mainly just wanted to get some hours on these motors, and it's exactly what I'm doing. We're both peeing pretty good. And just, oh, I can't get over this view. It's just insanity. I went pretty freaking far. I got, here's the haul over launch ramp right there. So I came out, went over under the bridge, all the way along here, been staying along the shore, and right there. I say we keep cruising, why not? Or do I bust the drone out? Bust the drone out for sunset, yep. I got some editing to do, but we have another challenge in this video, and that is getting this thing on the boat by myself. Might be interesting. Pulling back into Haulover right now. Really not a big fan of boating at nighttime. I cannot see anything. There's a massive, probably 70, 80 foot boat going right behind me right now. I was coming kind of like head on with them and almost couldn't see them at all. It's very strange. I don't know. I don't like the idea of like 50-ton boats out here just cruising around and they're kind of like pitch black. I can't see anything. And then there's all the navigational markers and pylons everywhere. And I'm like, I don't know. I keep these blue lights off when I'm cruising at night just so I can see a little bit better, but still, it's tough. Pulling in right now. I'm gonna look on the Garmin and see how many miles we just did. Compare it to the 45 to 50 that it is to get over to Bimini. No hiccups on the motors. Everything went great. And I gotta stop talking now because I'm pulling up to the dock and I gotta use all my brain power. Step one, tied up. Easiest part. Successfully pulled out. It was a little bit tricky, but I am pretty freaking happy with these new lithium batteries. I was concerned how they were gonna crank, since I know lithium batteries are more so, at least in my eyes, they're just made for like long lasting batteries. These things cranked these motors over much better than my other batteries did. Dual purpose lithium batteries. I'll definitely update after a couple months of use with these things and see if they handle all the abuse I throw at them. At least day one, I gotta say, they're pretty great. And the dual purpose cranking and deep cycle is so ideal for what I need on this boat. Definitely check out Epic Batteries, link in the description of the video. Guess what? We got another issue. This one not looking good. So my truck was parked over there and I remote started it as I was going over so I could check on all the trailer lights so they were flashing, obviously, when I was hitting the lock and unlock buttons and start buttons. And I come over and I noticed some sparks and smoke. So I immediately unplugged it, but coming from here somewhere, there was literally an entire ember, like it was about to catch on fire, and it was actually smoking and about to be a freaking flame out of this. So I got an issue with the wiring on my trailer. One more problem added to the books. Story of boat life. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I gotta get this thing home and I don't want to plug it in because it's gonna start burning up again. So I'm gonna unravel all that tape, and luckily nobody's here. I can just hang out. Sorry, this generator is annoying, but let me throw these straps on and I gotta start investigating this now. Found this connection right here, but look at, it's hard to see. This wire's burnt all the way through. I don't know what caused that, but this is definitely where the main issue is. Well, at least the fire was about to come from. I just don't know what's shorted out or what's grounded or not grounded or shorted or open, or something's wrong somewhere in the wiring, and that's annoying. Now I gotta find that. Let's see what happens when I plug it in again. I separated the wire apart, the broken one. Trying to see if any of them feel like they're hot. Maybe that's all I gotta do is splice this together and we can be all happy, but who knows? None of the other ones feel warm at all, so that's good. The truck has this little setting where it will cycle through left turn signal, right turn signal, brakes, and just running lights. So it's left. The right one does not. I hate trailer lights. I hate them. Okay, so I have no right turn signal. I kind of have brake lights. Whatever. I got a little bit of something, so I'm gonna just let that alone until I get home, and I'll try to fix it in the morning. The other issue that we had today that I didn't really mention was the steering is starting to get pretty brutal. It's starting to feel very rough, so I really do need to get the steering actuator replaced, or at least just top off all the power steering fluid. Oh, there's another issue. My thermostats, I believe, are stuck in the open position or something. I'm not exactly sure, but they're definitely not functioning properly, because whenever I get going, like anything above idling speed, the engines are running at like 90 to 100 degrees, which is definitely too cool. They should be running around 140, 150, something like that. And whenever I'm cruising idle speed or like real slow, no wake speed, they get up to 145, 150, they stay there. And then as soon as I start going, they drop down to like 100 degrees or 90 degrees or less, which is crazy. I mean, I think they're just getting way too much coolant, and I think that the thermostats need to shut to allow the motor to heat up a little bit, and I think that they're just stuck in the open position. That's what I've just diagnosed in my head. I believe that's correct. So I need to get thermostats, I need to get a power steering actuator, or just top off my power steering fluid to delay it a little bit more. And now I gotta fix this trailer wiring situation. But overall, I will say that the day was a win. This video has been over the course of 2 weeks because of my sickness and all the tedious work that I've had to do. But I appreciate you guys watching. I'm loving all the support from you guys. Check out the merch. It's at explorewithbrandon.com. Grab yourself a t-shirt or a hoodie. It's a great way to help support the channel, and all of the funds go straight back into issues like what I've had today. Oh, watch out! Back! Oh, watch out! Back! Good morning. It is bright and early. Getting the boat loaded up right now. Trying to be a little bit quiet because we have a lot of neighbors around. But we're heading down south of Miami to a new launch ramp, a place I've never been to. Got a few places that we want to check out. Everybody that I've talked to down here says they hate boating down near Miami because they say people down there are insane. They boat like maniacs. We'll see what happens down there. It's only Wednesday and we're going down for sunrise. So we just got to throw everything in here, and then we have about a 45-minute drive to get to the boat ramp. We're trying to beat this morning rush hour traffic. So let's get to it. Let's hit the road. We just made it down to Crandon Park Marina and boat ramp. It's pretty nice. We're like some of the only people here. Got the boat looking beautiful. Sunrise is happening right now. It's time to launch this puppy. Just getting her ready right here. Gonna pop the straps off, put the plug in, and I think we're good. Nothing we're forgetting, nothing stupid. I'll tighten it, don't worry. It's a little bit windy out. Hopefully we'll be all right out there.
Waking up in the morning to come out here feels so good. Suck getting up, but being out here now and dropping in with the sun coming out, freaking unbeatable vibes. The sun's peeking up, we timed this so perfectly. Today could not be going smoother.
All right, let's launch this baby. Ready to get out there. This is very unlike me to be up and out here so early in the morning. It took us a lot longer to get here than expected though. But we are at Crandon Park at the public launch, which is huge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 freaking boat ramps. Holy sh! This is the biggest boat ramp I've been to. Oh wow, this is nice. All right, we're totally free, so you should be good to go there. Looks like we're good. Wait, is it? Hey, get out of there. I think the pulpit's stuck on the roller, is it? There we go. This boat ramp is awesome. Look how massive this is. I want to see this place on the weekend. So far, the entire time we've been in Miami, every time we go to the boat ramp, nobody's here because it's too cold for all the Floridians. But for us, this is beautiful weather. We also come on weekdays, which is amazing. So I think we're ready to launch. First time over here at Crandon Park. Let's go. Let's get out there. Let's find out what we're doing and try to not run aground. That's the goal today. It is 7 a.m. and there's the sunrise. Already so warm out that I'm dying in this hoodie, so I gotta get this thing off. I'm starting to sweat. To be in a place like this time of year, in this type of weather, like, so freaking grateful for this. For the first 26 years of my life, I basically just froze to death every winter in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Right now, this would be a miserable, miserable time in Pennsylvania. So right now, I am loving this. This is, like, I'm just staring at a skyline of Miami. I got the sunrise behind me. Gunner's flying the drone. Bright blue, clear water. This is just, it really doesn't get much better than this. The first spot I think we're gonna head over to is Nixon Sandbar. It's not too far away. I'm not sure if you can hear me right now with this audio, so I apologize. This is incredible. This is everything I've ever wanted. We just pulled up to the sandbar. Gunner's about to toss the anchor out in there. We're in 2.5 feet of water right now, and the tide is going down. It's so funny. It's literally just right there in the water.
We don't need all that at all.
I'm so used to just like in the Ohio River back home where we drop the anchor and you have no idea if it's making it to the bottom yet because it's just, once it goes a couple inches under the water, it's completely dark. Here, you can see it just laying right there in the water. Oh, this is beautiful. So freaking beautiful. Miami in the background. Key Biscayne in the other background. Not a bad life out here. Next on the list is to buy a grill that we can slap right down there in one of the rod holders and then come out here, grill up some food. Right now, all we have is cold stuff. We have no way to heat anything up. So that is the next upgrade coming to the boat. Speaking of what I love to do, it's exploring bright blue water and more places in the bright blue water. I think we're gonna leave Nixon Sandbar here soon and head over to a new spot, take you guys along for the journey. But this water is just so freaking blue. I say we enjoy this here just a smidge longer.
We're going under the boat, guys.
So we were just getting ready to pack up our stuff and we see this boat right here. He was just coming in full speed, blasting music. And I'm thinking he's getting really, really close to the sandbar that we're on right now. Maybe I just don't know what I'm doing and he's good. I don't know. And then right as we're talking about it, he just beaches, just runs aground. Now he's stuck right there. And he immediately comes to the side of his boat, just screaming Spanish at us. And I'm telling him in Spanish, hey, I don't speak much Spanish. Like, do you speak any English? And I asked him in correct Spanish, and he immediately just rapid fires a bunch of Spanish back at me, and I'm like, all right, man, he wants us to come over and pull him, but I'm like, give me a second, like we gotta pull the anchor up, we gotta get the motors firing, we got a lot of stuff to do. So we're gonna cruise over there right now and see if we can get this big boat unstuck. He said, help me, por favor. 2.5 feet of water right now, and he's got probably a 37-foot boat, I'm guessing. This should be interesting. Oh, it's a 40-foot boat. Oh man, that's bigger than I even thought.
You have to try and speak Spanish to him.
I know, I'm gonna have to try my Spanish here, but he's speaking really fast. Shit, we're about to hit ourselves.
What are we at?
Getting below 2 foot. Momento, no puedo escucharte. We got 1.5 feet here. No sé si puedo ayudarte porque tu bote es demasiado grande. No puedo, mi bote es demasiado pequeño. Tal vez podemos caminar. ¿Qué prefieres? ¿Quieres que los dos caminar a tu bote y usar las manos o quieres una línea? I don't know how to say rope in Spanish. He's like, I can pay you, I can pay you. I'm like, that's fine. We're in 1.5 foot of water right now, and he wants me to pull a 40-foot heavy boat. I'm gonna try, yeah. Oh, shit. I think one of the motors died. Oh no. Shit. Momento. Just throw the line back for a second. Yeah, just let it go for a second. Sí, pero momento, mi motor derecha está muerto ahora. No sé por qué. This is not an ideal time for this. Solo tengo uno motor ahora.
Poquito a poco, ven. Tiene cámara ahí. Tiene que meterlo por el cuajito ese.
Okay.
Is it working?
I don't think so.
We have one motor.
I know. Something got jammed up in the starboard throttle, and I think it's not thinking that it's in neutral. Bro, he's not getting out of here.
You don't think?
Not with my boat. This is insane. This is. I think so.
Getting deeper. He's got to be almost out.
I don't know. It still only says a foot deep. I mean, look at that.
We're not going anywhere now.
I think we're good. Sí. Hold on.
Ya, suéltalo rápido.
Let me take that line off. No, so watch out. No, stop. Back. Don't touch it. It's gonna pull on you. It just f***ed my motors up, something up. I mean, dude, that looks so bad.
It might have just been this.
Just the cowling?
Because I see it's cracked now.
Yeah.
Bro, he's got hella cash. He's waving at you. Are you gonna get his insurance or something?
I'm gonna need to, because if that f***ed up something in the motor, like, it's gonna be a lot of money.
He's gonna try to just hang you money and go away.
¿Tienes protección, like, insurance? No?
Yo cubano, no protecho.
724.
Alex. Guau, mira. Morro, come, okay?
Okay, sí. And he said he has no insurance. I mean, I might just follow him for a minute. Hey, ¿a dónde vas ahora? What even just happened?
That all happened so damn quick.
I try to help this guy, and then he just crunches my motor. I had to assess the damages now. Did you see how hard the motor got pressed so hard?
Yeah.
I feel like it had to have broken something else. Did you get that on video by any chance?
I got it all on video. I feel bad because I think I filmed it too well and didn't help enough.
No, that's
so
great.
I'm sorry.
When things happen that are crazy, it's better to get it on video. No! Hola, amigo. Sí, pero ¿dónde vives? ¿En Homestead? He has no boat registration numbers on his boat. He threw me $300 cash, gave me his phone number. I got really good pictures of his boat and everything. He told me to call him tomorrow and that he'll take care of everything and fix anything that's broken. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I do have his phone number and his boat. I feel like I should be able to find him, and we all have it all on video as well. So right now I'm gonna assess the damages, and of course in the middle of all of that, my one motor dies, and now I think I gotta take apart my throttle because I think something got messed up in here and it's not allowing it to go into neutral. Wow, that was, we went from just having a great time on a sandbar to crashing into a 40-foot boat. Jesus. Well, that was literally the epitome of what everyone told me it is like to boat near Miami. They say everyone's crazy, it just gets out of control and it's always problems, and I found out firsthand on my first day. Okay, let's assess some damages here. Let's take this baby off and see if we can see anything. It's actually not that bad. It sounded horrific.
It did.
It sounded so bad. I thought both the motors were destroyed. It's smashed into this injector as well. Honestly, I think for the most part, everything in here is all right. It did mess up this little Schrader valve. These two lines seem okay, and it's still running, which is good. So,
Dude, there was so much water back here when you hit.
the corner of the boat was like underwater.
I know, I thought we were about to sink low key.
Since it was tied to this cleat, his boat was just I think he was still in drive, and he left it in drive. And I was trying to tell him like to stop. If he would have stopped and slammed it in reverse, we would have been okay. Or maybe I was probably still in a gear. I don't know. It was a freaking mess. I should have just called somebody for him or had a towboat come out and get him. Learned my lesson the hard way. Hopefully this guy will send me some more cash tomorrow, because the cowling alone, just this piece, is like $500. Honestly, for what happened to it, it's just like a couple little cracks right here. I would never make him buy me another one of those, but this bottom one, definitely want him to cover, because this got smoked right there. I'm not sure the price on this. I didn't price one of these, but not looking forward to the time it's going to take me to replace that. That's the pain in the ass part. I'm glad that we got him out. We did something good. We got something bad in return. You know what? It's the bananas. It's the bananas we brought on the boat. That's what it is. Everyone says, I have never even looked into it, the superstition of not bringing bananas on the boat. And then here we are, me and Gunnar mocking it, just cheersing our bananas in the beginning of this video. And look what happens. See? So maybe the bananas are true. No more bananas on the boat. I've learned my lesson, guys. I apologize. All right, well, now I gotta tear apart this throttle, try to get this other motor fired up, and then hopefully get out to another location here, because we're having a great time, and then we weren't having a great time. Ay. So you can see the problem is these gears right here should not be moving. Like they should be Like, this shouldn't move independently of that. Oops, just lost another piece. See if the starboard motor will fire up. I think when this gear comes up and then fires, I think it was, whenever the motor died, I think that gear was just stuck up in its place. I think it was kind of jammed. I think that's all it was.
That is really cool.
I've never actually seen that before. All right, we got the cowlings back on the motors. They're both firing up. Let's take a peek in the bilge while I still have this ability, because this entire hatch is supposed to be very sealed so that water doesn't come in, because it's very normal for water to splash over here and cover all of this. Now that I don't have it sealed because I've been working inside of here, all the water is going straight inside. So I want to see, we took on a decent bit of water. Not much, honestly. It might look like a lot, but my float switch is barely even floating.
No.
That's honestly not bad at all. That's much better than I was expecting. I saw like this whole corner of the boat underwater at one point. I was like, oh no. I just haven't committed to sealing that shut yet because I've been working inside of there and fixing things. So that's on the list of things. It's on the list of things. Oh, I have to put the throttle back together. Now that ordeal's all done, we got both the motors fired up, the throttles are all put back together. We're gonna try to salvage this day, and we're gonna try to go hit a lighthouse that maybe we can jump from, maybe we can't. Either way, it's a spot I've really been wanting to go see, so we're gonna cruise out there. We got 10 miles to go. It's a little bit offshore. Hopefully the water's not too rough out there.
Yeah, I think we're officially in the ocean. Like, look how close this gets to the water. Oh! No! That can't be good.
Might be a mission getting out there, I don't know. Okay, so we turned around, we came back to safer waters for right now, because right here it's a little choppy and it's a little uncomfortable. As soon as we started getting out there, it was a little bit too much for this boat. At least for my first time being offshore, I don't think I should be in like 4 foot, 5 foot waves. I don't know if that's what those were, but they felt pretty freaking big. I know some people will probably laugh at me thinking that was like nothing, but for a 24 foot, 30-year-old boat, someone who doesn't really know what they're doing, I was a little dicey out there. It's kind of crazy. We had some pretty big waves crashing over the front of this thing.
We're soaked and we're sitting inside this little cab part.
Yeah, everything in the cockpit was getting soaked. But now that we're back in a safer area, I pulled up the marine forecast for Key Biscayne, and it says small craft advisory. I would consider us a small craft for sure, because we are. Small craft advisory in effect through Friday morning. The rest of the day today, it says south winds 5 to 10 knots. It says light chop. This feels like a little bit of a light chop. When we were out there, that was, I don't care what anyone says, that was more than a light chop. And then chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon today, but it doesn't say anything about the actual wave height. I'll have to look up something else. For now, I'm gonna cruise back in a little bit farther and get away from even this little chop that we're in, because we're kind of just like bobbing all over the place. Let's get back to some safety. It's been a day. It's been a very unexpected day, to say the least.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to $14,000 boat and $14 million house. The segment where I feel a lot more poor than it's just as poor as I am. So welcome to the segment. As you can see behind me here, we have a bougie house can't help but be in awe of the places that we see around here in Miami. It doesn't really make sense where the money comes from. Like that guy today handed us $300. He could have bought a tow membership for that cost too, but no, he just has the cash on him. It's pocket change to him, much like probably everyone in this little inlet we're in right now. I strategically showed you this side of the boat so I can make you feel a little bit good about yourself. But if you really want to just absolutely destroy your day, come over to the starboard side of the boat with me. This makes the other one look like a mere guest house. Our 17.5 bedroom and 16.5 bathrooms will be quite suitable for you. Insane wealth here. Welcome to Miami, baby.
Look at the Christmas tree inside that house. That thing's massive. All these houses have their own private beaches. It's insane. All right, that's enough feeling poor for today. Now we're gonna cruise over towards downtown Miami. The skyline is just too beautiful to not get close to. Well, we're finishing off our day here. Miami in the background, beautiful backdrops of the city. Today has been quite eventful, to say the least. That's enough excitement for me down here in the wild west of Biscayne Bay near downtown Miami. I've been told that it's crazy down here. I didn't believe it, but it sure is. It's a freaking Wednesday right now. I can't even imagine what this place would be like on a Saturday or a Sunday on a nice hot day. I feel like there's probably crashes every day, all kinds of accidents. 15,000 Facebook Marketplace boat. Been a little bit more of a project boat than I had hoped. A lot of work's already been done to her, but after this video, I think she'll be ready to go to the Bahamas. That's the goal. We're getting out there, so let's dive into it. If you're new to the channel, it's a 1995 Robalo 2440 with twin 2008 Optimax 175s. A solid upgrade to the electronics on this boat. I've already posted a few videos of doing a lot of work and a lot of maintenance to this thing, getting it back up and running, because it was quite neglected, just sitting in storage for a long time. The guy I bought it from, a little bit sketchy. He took it in as payment for a job that someone didn't have the money to pay him for, so it was a little bit of a risk buying this boat. I'm hoping that I can get this thing ready to go out to the Bahamas. Can't freaking wait. We had a slight incident down by Key Biscayne, a little bit south of Miami. A 40-foot boat and I collided pretty hard. I'm just now getting to fully assess all the damages, but you know, it cracked the upper cowling, but they're really small spider cracks. I'm not honestly that concerned because it doesn't look that great anyways. But this lower cowling got crunched in. It did a lot of damage to this one. I think I may have got lucky under the cowling. I think the only thing that got messed up is this little Schrader valve took a little bit of a slam. I think everything just pressed in and crunched up against it. Same thing with this injector. Took a little bit of a hit. But as far as everything else I can see down in here, I think we're all right. Hopefully everything's good. The guy had no insurance. He threw me 300 bucks cash and told me he had to get out of there. I got his number and everything, so if there is more damages, I will hunt him down for sure. I found a lower cowling for 50 bucks on eBay, but honestly, just taking the lower cowling off is such a pain. That's really what I'm not looking forward to. But let's go over all of the upgrades and additions that you'll see in this video. We have right here, check this baby out. I really have been wanting to cook on the boat, especially when we go offshore and we need to be grilling up and cooking. So picked up the 17-inch Blackstone griddle from Walmart. I think it was like 117 bucks, cheaper than I found it anywhere else, and it was same-day delivery here in Florida. This doesn't have any sort of fancy mount for the back of the boat, like no rod holder mount or anything. And I know there's a ton of options for grills that you can attach to the fiberglass on a mount or put into a fishing rod holder or clamp onto a bar. But I did not want to grill. I want to cook like hibachi style, where I can just cook everything. Easy to clean, easy to cook on. Super excited to use this when we're out and about. I also just flew back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania the last 2 days. I flew back in last night, but I had to go home because I'm selling my boat up north, and I had to go home to do a sea trial with the guy. Luckily, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we had a beautiful 50-degree day in the middle here of winter. It was crazy. So we did the sea trial all day, had beautiful weather. Water was 38 degrees when we were on the boat. And while I was home, I had these extra fenders. I deflated them, which took forever, rolled them up really tight, threw them into my little personal item, flew Spirit Airlines back down here to Florida. So now I got fenders for the boat because I didn't have anything for this Robalo. Next up, we have a new steering actuator. Since mine's leaking really bad, I'll see if I have to replace every single piece or if I can just replace the cylinder itself. But it'll be nice to not be leaking any more power steering because it's going into the back of the boat and then eventually leaking into the water, and I'm not trying to be dumping oil all through southern Florida. We got 4 brand new thermostats because if you saw in the previous videos, mine that are in these things are garbage. They are trashed. They still work, but who knows for how much longer because they look pretty bad. And then we got new impellers for both motors. I'm not sure what these ones even look like. I haven't opened them up, but I can assume that they're probably not in great shape. Impellers, they were pretty cheap. Picked up 2 of them. If the other ones are in good condition, I'll keep them as spares. And then these freaking filters. I've been fighting them for a few videos now. I haven't been able to get the filters off of the motors, so I'm gonna take the fuel pumps out and a couple components and try to get better access to get those filters off finally because they've been such a pain. This video, it's happening, getting them done. And then we got a new serpentine belt. Way too expensive for a serpentine belt. The one on the port side motor is cracked and it's not looking so good. So I need to swap that one out and I'll keep the one that's on there just as a spare as well. But all this is going in the boat. And after all this is done, I'm gonna feel pretty confident taking her out to the Bahamas, as long as I have a good weather window. But first things first, what should we tackle? Let's get the grill opened up. It's the easiest thing. Look at this. That's pretty much gonna be me grilling all that up. Blackstone grill installed. Also reinflated the bumpers, so now we got 2 decent fenders for the boat, and those were the easiest things on the whole list. Now it's time to move on to the harder stuff. All right. Gotta loosen up these fuel rails. Here is the housing, but to get the bolt all the way out, that's why the fuel rail needs to be loosened. You don't need to take it all the way off, but definitely need to loosen it to get them all the way. And just gotta get that bolt back in there, and then she's out. And there she goes. Here is thermostat number 1. Actually, this thing is actually looking pretty good. They were looking really bad last time I took them out, but this one looks pretty, I mean, it's a little gross on the top, you know, compared to the new one, but, there's a chance I might actually not replace these. Thermostats were kind of expensive, and you can see it moves just fine. Last time I took them out, I put them in a bowl of boiling water and I watched them open, watched them close. They worked perfectly fine. So right now I'm actually considering not doing that. The motors have been running really cold, like 95 degrees whenever I get going, but when I'm idling, they get up to like 145, 155. So I thought that it was the thermostats that were going bad, but now I think it's the poppet valve, which I believe is somewhere in this conglomerate. I think I'm gonna go do a little bit of research real quick on poppet valves because I think that might be what's going on here. I don't think it's the thermostats. All right, I got the lower cowlings off and I had to remove this entire electrical assembly right here to get to where the poppet valve is. You can see it right there. It's that circular housing. But I encountered quite an issue. When I pulled this off, that bolt right there was completely inside of this hose. Like like I had to pull this bolt out. So there's a massive hole right inside of this hose, right there. You could see it. Let me try to zoom in. Look at the size of that hole. They completely pushed that screw straight through this. They had it pinched right in here and it went right through it. This hose runs up and it comes up here and it goes in right there. I'm not exactly sure what that does. Luckily, when I just flew back down from Pennsylvania, my parents flew back with me for the holidays. So they're at the beach right now, but whenever they come back, I'm gonna ask my dad and have him just help me. I gotta take full advantage of him being down here to help me out because he knows everything about motors. I don't know much. So we'll see. We'll see what that is. Right here is where the poppet valve lives. We got 1 bolt, 2 bolt, and there's 3, 4. They're corroded as could be. So we'll see if these come out. Surprisingly, these are all coming out really well. All right, now, oh, there it is. I really should have done that on the starboard side motor first, because then I would have had like clean access to everything. It's kind of a pain working in like this. And just figured out my own problem. When I took this housing out, it's actually the hose that goes to the poppet that they drilled straight into right there with a massive bolt. So I'm sure that is definitely not good. I don't see why that would cause it to run too cold though. Here we got the poppet valve cover. It's a little corroded inside of here, but it honestly doesn't look horrible. I feel like I can clean that out pretty nice. Definitely a lot of corrosion up inside of there. All right, I always love an excuse to use the stubby. Well, here's another cover. I just put that little screw back in and then yanked on that, and this whole thing came off. I didn't realize this much of it would come out. It looks totally okay to me. I think really the issue is, I mean, definitely this giant screw head that went inside of this hose. I need to replace this hose, but trying to look inside there. Yeah, I think this is all good. I think I might be able to put this back together. I just need to get a new hose to replace this guy. All right, the poppet valve situation is gonna have to be on hold until I can get another hose for that. I'm not gonna put this all back together and then take it all back apart again. I'm gonna try to find a hose at I don't know, some sort of store nearby. I think it's just any standard hose. I'm gonna move over and maybe I will take off the serpentine belt, replace this because this one is cracked pretty bad. Let's go ahead and swap that out. There we go. Maybe we'll go around the idler first. Hi. Oh, if only all jobs on this motor were that easy. And now, let's try to get these sons of bitches off. Out of desperation, I removed this entire assembly here because I needed access to the back side of this filter. I'm gonna try to grab onto it with my tool now and see if I can get it. All right, I've also removed this little fuel pump. I believe that's what that is. I think I can actually grab onto it with this new tool that I bought. Oh. All right, I'm just getting my ass kicked with every single thing I try to do to this today. Look how beat up this is getting just trying to get it off. I'm gonna have to wait until someone can hold this piece for me so I can clamp onto this and try to use 2 arms and twist that off. And then once that's replaced, I can put this back on, new filter, bolt this whole assembly back in, put the lower cowling back on, and replace that hose. But for now, I think I'm going to start to try to take apart the steering assembly, and then hopefully my dad will be back in time to give me a hand. Got everything loose. I went to move the power steering actuator. As soon as I moved it, all the pressure just blasted me in both of my open eyes and my open mouth, just full in the face of power steering fluid. So just went inside and washed my eyes out and my mouth out. Perfect timing. My dad just showed up back from the beach, and now we're getting the rest of it taken apart. All right, so this is definitely not gonna work. This bracket is never gonna bolt up to where my other one went. This is the other one, and it's just completely different. Never gonna work, so I gotta find another one. Pain in the ass. Finally got the filter swapped out. It took so much force to get this stupid thing off. I mean, look how beat up it got. It got punctured. It almost looked like they used some sort of sealant around here instead of putting oil on it when they put it on, because it was up inside of here on this plate. It was crusted. It was like super crusted. I don't know if it was corroded or what, but fuel looked really good when we dumped it out, so that's done, thank goodness. I pulled the poppet valves off both sides. I pulled it off this one too. It looks great. So I'll put that back together. The hose is good on this side. It looks like they replaced the hose that goes up to the top. This one, I don't know. Oh, there's the hose. This one, I gotta go run, grab a new hose, slap that in there, and then I can button all that side back up. But right now it sucks. The boat is inoperable because I can't steer it. Just took the e-bike to the store, and now I'm using it as a work light. Picked up some more 3/8 hose so I can replace that bad hose, and now I'm gonna throw this other poppet together, and then I can put the whole thing back together. Then I just gotta figure out this steering situation. I ordered a seal kit that's actually gonna be here tomorrow morning. Gonna try that. And then we still got impellers to do. That's just never ending list, you know? But so many things have been going wrong today on everything I've been doing, and I don't know. Overall, it's been very frustrating today, so I was getting a little bit angry. That's why I haven't really filmed a lot. Slowly climbing into a better mood. If this goes well, we'll see. This is like the best view I can find to show what's going on here. Line everything all up nice and neat. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna do this outside of here. Take the poppet back out. Okay. We got it all together. Alright, the new hose. It's gotta go up through here. Actually, it's gonna go behind this. That is very difficult to get into there. Huh. She's driving me nuts. The hose clamp is too big. The other hose clamp is too small. I think I can really smash down the bigger one and make it work, but then the hose clamp's right there, and it's just so big itself, like even the tightening mechanism, that this is never gonna bolt back to where it has to go because it's gonna hit into that. So I might literally just use a zip tie for the time being, and hopefully that works. Done for today. I'm freaking beat. I'm annoyed. I gotta get some sleep. We'll be back at it tomorrow. All right, it is a new day, a new solution to the power steering. Ended up overnighting a couple seals from Amazon. They have really good reviews on there, so we'll see. Hopefully we're just able to take out these seals around the end, replace those, and hopefully that should keep it leaking a little bit less than it was. I don't know if it's gonna fully fix it, but I think it'll be a nice temporary solution at least. Just getting the pieces apart on the steering assembly was such a pain. Everything was so corroded and so crusted together for being on this boat in the saltwater conditions for such a long period of time. It took a lot of work. It was very tedious just getting everything apart, just getting the bolts off, getting pieces separated from each other. It definitely was not as easy as I was hoping it was gonna be. I thought we were just gonna swap out the other actuator and be done. I didn't think we were gonna have to mess with this one too much, but even just getting this one off, it was just a complete nightmare. Okay, really hoping that this fixes it because it was 17 bucks plus $2.99 for 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. overnight shipping for these seals. We threw on the old Amazon special. Right now, we're just installing the old actuator with all the old hardware where we didn't think we were gonna be using all this old hardware, so we weren't very gentle with it when we were removing it. So it was a little bit of a pain putting everything back together. We thought we were gonna have all brand new hardware from the new actuator, but wasn't the case. All right, this morning has been going much, much better than yesterday. Yesterday was a shit show. It is all back and installed and it is working. It's great. There's no leaks on it. It's literally these seals, $17.50, overnight shipping, fixed my entire problem where that actuator from Mercury, it's like over $1,000. And even that other, the Viver one, whatever the brand was, the other one that I have that doesn't fit, that one was like $300. This is one of the rare occasions where boat doesn't stand for bust out another $1,000. It stands for bust out another $17.50 with overnight shipping from Amazon at 4 a.m. So that's done, that's taken care of. One thing that I think is crazy is that we originally were just gonna take this whole thing out that goes all the way through and replace everything with the new one that I ordered. That, you know, obviously we thought that's what it was gonna be. But this giant bolt that goes all the way through to here, with having twin motors, it's impossible to get that out. When we pushed it all the way through, it hit into the next motor and it was completely impossible. Whoa, what is this guy doing? Almost ran over my flip-flops. It was completely impossible to get it out that way because it hits into the other motor. And then if you try to push it this way, it hits into the fiberglass here. So there was no way to get it out unless we cut it. And it was so wedged in there that we had to throw a punch on it. And when we were punching it out, it just destroyed the threads on both sides. So then had to take, well, I have very limited tools down here. I didn't bring all my tools from Pennsylvania, so I'm working with limited tools. I used a Sawzall and had to cut the very edge of the bolt off, but all the damaged threads, luckily there was enough still there, but we had to cut off the last couple threads and then file it all down, get these nuts to thread back on. It was a nightmare because we realized we weren't able to swap this giant bolt out. And luckily we ended up not even needing to use that new actuator and we're able to reuse the old one with some new seals on it. Hopefully holds up, but I refilled the reservoir up on the steering wheel and I steered these back and forth a million times and there was no leakage and it's still full up top. So it's a rare win for boating to have a cheap fix. I'm curious to see if the impellers that are in these things are trashed, if they're starting to die, if maybe they're new, I don't know. I'm rushing around so much to get this completely ready to go because my parents are visiting, Gunner's parents are visiting, and today is one of the only nice days while they're here. It's supposed to be 80 and sunny today. The rest of the weekend's supposed to be actually pretty chilly for Florida standards. So trying to get this thing ready. That's why I was working on it all night last night and all morning today so we can get out there, enjoy the one super warm weather day, and hopefully after these impellers, we'll be ready to go drop her in the water. Taking off the lower units ended up being a lot bigger of a pain than we thought it was gonna be. I don't think they've been taken off for a very long time, so the bolts and nuts were a little bit rough getting off. Also, there were a few bolts that we didn't see. They were kind of hidden. Once we found everything and figured it out on the first lower unit, it was a lot easier for the second one. Once we got the lower units apart, taking out the impellers was pretty straightforward. Just had to be a little bit careful not to break any gaskets or anything like that. What's your guess? You think the impeller's gonna be It actually is.
What?
Look, that whole fin's broken off. Check that out. See, a broken fin. GoPros are really bad at close-ups, but yeah, this whole fin is torn over halfway through. Definitely time to replace this baby. Out with the old, in with the new. but I made a huge mistake. I thought both motors were in drive, which keeps the shifter perfectly aligned for when you need to put everything back together, but for some reason it wasn't fully in drive, so it let the shaft move just ever so slightly, which made putting these things back on a complete pain. It took so much more time than it should have and just built onto all the frustrations that I've had from the previous day. All right, finally, those are done. It's kind of a learning curve there. It has a little bit more of a headache than we anticipated, but both of the impellers are replaced. Here's the one from the other side. It's got a lot of cracks all through it, kind of worn. Still would have lasted a little while, but this one, definitely with that giant slit in it, not looking so hot. So those are good, tested, ready to go. Gotta clean this baby up and take everybody out. We'll go to the sandbar. 80 degrees, beautiful and sunny. We finished right at noon today, so I'm gonna clean up all the tools, organize everything, clean. Let's hit the road. All right, we just got to the boat ramp at Haulover, and it is by far the most packed I've ever seen it here, which still isn't saying much for normal Miami because we only have this small parking lot. Eventually, they're gonna open up that giant one over there. But I took the very last parking spot there. It's Friday afternoon. I'm actually very surprised we even got a spot. But we're just waiting for everyone to walk over and hop on the boat. They actually are walking up right now. A little bit more windy than I would like it to be today. Oh, and check out the extra seating. We took our outdoor patio seats and they kind of fit in here really nice. I kind of like it. It might be a normal thing in here now. Just like a lounge. It's like it feels like it's like a party bus, but it's a 30-year-old boat. Let's go. What are you waiting for? Chop, chop. Charter's leaving. Welcome aboard the luxury cruise line of Brandon Gross Enterprises.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
This is Gunner's idea.
Gunner, that's awesome.
I thought he was crazy for it.
This is great.
Shoes off.
Such a great idea.
All right, we untied? Yeah, we got a lot of boat traffic today. This is definitely new territory for me. Got a jet ski to the right. We got these two boats in front of us. We got one behind us. Damn, there's a lot. Yeah. It's crazy. Actually got on plane pretty easy. That's very surprising. I was thinking that with 7 people on board and all my tools that it was going to be a little bit difficult getting on plane, but it honestly didn't take much longer than it normally does when it's only me and Gunner. We're going to hit some waves here. Hit some big wakes there.
Those were big wakes, yeah.
Both the cameras went down on that one.
Look at put something between them, like a border.
Doesn't get much better than this. We made it out here.
Yeah.
Worked on the boat all day, all night. It's good to go. And no issues so far. This is the image I never thought I would see. my family in a sandbar in Miami. Oh, yeah. Oh, I should do the wheel bearings. I was thinking I was done with everything. I'll run the wheel bearings till they look like that one at the ramp. There's a lot of people out here, though. Look at this. I'm sure this is still nothing for normal Miami, but there's so many boats out here. The most that I've seen so far. It's always just me and Gunner and like 2 other boats the whole time we're out. I know this was a long video. Thank you for sticking it out to the end. If you did make it this far, drop a comment down below and let me know. Also, grab some merch at explorewithbrandon.com. If you haven't seen this shirt yet, this is a bunch of the mean comments from my first boat videos. I thought it was hilarious. grab yourself one. It's the best way to support the channel. And if you can't, just drop a like and a subscribe. We got the live subscriber count right here. We're almost at 500,000. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. And let me know if you guys are enjoying the maintenance videos, the repair videos, all the upgrade stuff, or if you prefer more of the adventure style videos. I mean, it's probably gonna be a solid mixture of the two for a while until I get this boat really ironed out. But either way, I kind of want to know from you guys if you prefer more just adventure content or if you want to see more of the repair videos. But either way, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting my channel. And I will see you for the next video. The road to 500,000. Let's go.